Before the final game of the NFL season, the Denver Broncos just make a puzzling addition to their practice squad. This player that they just signed to the practice squad really shows a failure of this offense this year. Could this player be the missing piece? We're going to dive into that, and whether or not this player is the missing piece, we need to find the puzzle piece to fix this Sean Payton offense, and I think this player's position is the hinge point for that. So diving into it, we see the big news of the week, and really the big news of the season, is that Greg Dulcich, who all of our hopes were riding on, we have talked ad nauseum about the fact that a successful tight end is completely crucial to a success for Russell Wilson, which now it seems the Broncos have moved on from him. But more importantly than that a successful tight end is a linchpin, a crucial point for a successful Sean Payton offense. One of the craziest stats that I've seen that came out just a couple days ago, Cosmiter, I think they call this guy Cos, he's great, but this is a sad, sobering statistic, which is that we have not had a 1,000-yard rusher or a 1,000-yard passer since 2020. So that just feels like that was before COVID was a thing, right? Like that was a long, long time ago. And you look, most NFL teams have at least one of those, if not both of those, every year, and we haven't had one of them since 2020. And truly, I feel like that all hinges on a successful tight end. A tight end is the craziest position in all sports because they are simultaneously a lineman and a wide receiver. And having them on there, like if you just look at a successful Sean Payton team, he calls that position with Jeremy Shockey and with their other fantastic tight ends over the years, they call that the X or Joker position, right? And we need that to succeed. So we had all of our hopes on Greg Dulcich, right? If you look at his pre-draft rankings, he was ranked super high with an overall draft grade of 81 out of 100, which is a fantastic grade. He was fast, he's big, he has good hands, he's rangy. Look, his vert is amazing. Like he is the type of player who you look at on paper and say, there's no reason he can't be the next Travis Kelce. He can't be the next Rob Gronkowski. And if you even look at a player who just completely ripped us up, who's on pace to be the most successful rookie tight end in the history of the NFL, I think if he has one more catch this week in the Lions' final game, he will be the most successful rookie NFL tight end. He barely outscores Dulcich in all these measurables and all these important scores. So Dulcich was an 81 overall rating, and LaPorta, who's about to set rookie records, is an 84. And you just look at, as we go in and think about, like, do we tank for a better draft pick? You know, these pre-draft rankings don't mean anything. It's not until the season actually starts. But all of our hopes to finally have a 1,000-yard passer, a 1,000-yard rusher, for the first time in 2020 hinged upon Sean Payton or Russell Wilson or whoever we have having a successful tight end to help out in some key metrics. So what did we do? We signed this guy, very unfortunate name. His name is Johnny Lumpkin. Massive dude, played at Louisiana and looked to... some people had him as a late 6th, 7th round draft pick. He ended up going undrafted and then getting signed by the New England Patriots. Belichick has kind of a history. If you look at Hernandez before all the murdery stuff, no judgment, and Gronkowski, he has a history of being able to find a tight end, and even their tight end now, who is injured for our game, not a slacky of a player. So he got signed down with the Patriots, was on their practice squad, got snatched off their practice squad by the Colts, and now came to the Denver Broncos practice squad. Probably the last addition that we're going to have before our game against the Las Vegas Raiders on Sunday. So the true question is, like, what does this mean for the future of the Broncos tight end room? Do we believe that Dulcich can step up and be the tight end we hoped and drafted? Or do we think we need to go and find another tight end in free agency, find another tight end in the NFL draft? So that is the true question. I think the biggest question going into this final game against the Raiders is, what does Stidham actually look like? There have been a lot of people talking about how we shouldn't play any of our starters, and instead we should just pull everyone so no one gets injured and we're fully healthy going into the next year. But to me, we really need to see what we have in Jarrett Stidham to see, is he the quarterback of the future? And with a very uncompetitive game against the Los Angeles Chargers last week, we didn't have a chance to truly say, is Stidham the quarterback of the future? Because we were up that entire game, that entire second half of the game. We barely had to throw the ball. We knew we had the victory in hand. And so I really am looking forward to a close game. I'm looking forward to a game where we have to air it out and we can see, can he be the quarterback of the future? I hope we play Sutton. I know he's coming back off of a concussion, and that can be a 1 or 2 week injury. But we really need to see what we have in him. So if we lose the game and the right teams win, we could jump as high as the 11th overall pick. And if we win and all the other teams we need to lose end up losing, we could be as high as the 16th pick. So really a 5-pick swing there to finish 9-8 for the first time since 2016. I think is worth winning. I think we need to see what we have in Jarrett Stidham. Let's put our best effort out there. But Broncos Country, can you weigh in on the comments? Do you hope we end up winning our final game against the Raiders? Kind of getting revenge on that first game of the season, seeing what we have in Stidham. Can we roll with him next year, or do we need to trade up to get a quarterback of the future? Do we need to find something in free agency? Do we need to re-examine the Russell Wilson situation? I think we cannot see that unless we put our best foot forward and try very hard against these Raiders. Last week, the Raiders were an offsides penalty away from beating the Colts, who are going to make the playoffs. We saw what they did on a primetime game by just demolishing the Chargers the week before. And I think the Raiders are on the precipice of being a good team. So let's see what happens on the road. How can Jarrett Stidham look on the road in a tough environment? How can he look playing against his former team? Can he be the type of player who can lead the Broncos back to the promised land of the playoffs? It has been far, far too long. We are now 8 years in a row. All that ends now because Broncos Country, we are building towards the future. We are building towards a playoff run next year. It's going to happen, and I want you here for it. So if you like this video, if you like me breaking down all the Broncos news, the Broncos potential draft picks, the Broncos future, then can you help me out and hit like and subscribe and buckle up, Broncos Country, because we are going to the playoffs next year. You heard it here. It's going to happen. We're in it together, Broncos. Thanks.